Are you listening?
All right, we have a jam-packed show for you. 3 pages. We got 3 pages of news to talk about this week, so let's just jump straight into the first story. Has EA given up on Google Stadia? Now, this story popped up this week because EA announced Madden NFL 23, and they revealed that it will be coming to the PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox Series X and S, the Xbox One, and PC via the Epic Games Store, Origin, Steam, and the EA app. And notably, the big platform missing there is Google Stadia, especially since the last 2 Madden games that released also came to Google Stadia. Granted, Madden NFL 21 did release on a later date, but Madden NFL 22 launched day and date for Google Stadia. Plus, remember, back in 2020, EA and Google announced an agreement that would bring 5 games to the Stadia platform. And at the time of that announcement, all we knew was that FIFA, Madden NFL 21, and Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order would be coming to the platform, and the other 2 games were kind of a mystery. And turns out that those other 2 games were just the newest version of FIFA and Madden NFL 22. And I guess adding the fuel to the fire that EA has potentially given up on Google Stadia, Star Wars Jedi Survivor was announced last weekend during Star Wars Celebration, and that game was announced as coming to major platforms including PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. Again, Stadia nowhere to be found. But honestly, that's just the beginning, because since the announcement between Stadia and EA, we've also seen EA release new games like F1 22, Grid Legends, Battlefield 2042, NHL 22, Lost in Random, the Mass Effect Legendary Edition, and It Takes Two, and none of those EA games were brought to the Stadia platform, leading me to think that that contract between EA and Stadia was pretty straightforward. You're only getting 5 games. Anything after that isn't going to happen. Well, the big concern here is FIFA 23. That announcement is right around the corner, and I would go on a limb and say that FIFA is probably the biggest sports game on Stadia as a platform. And there is an argument that FIFA 23 definitely is coming because, well, Stadia is part of the cross-play test that FIFA's running. But then I go back to this, that unless EA says it's going to happen, it's not going to happen. Now, a friend of the show, Lee, who works on Stadia Source and GeForce Source, he reached out to EA's PR team for a clarification about Madden, and the message he got back was Madden NFL 23 is available on PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, PC via EA app for Windows, Origin, Steam, and the Epic Games Store. Currently, the game will not be offered for Google Stadia. And I've been diving into this conversation a lot on Twitter, and the one response that I often get back is, well, maybe EA is just giving up on cloud gaming. You know, they didn't talk about xCloud, they didn't talk about GeForce Now, they didn't talk about Amazon Luna. And while I completely understand where that argument's coming from, it's also not very valid. Like with Amazon Luna, they have 0 EA games on the platform. So for me and other Luna players, there's not really any disappointment there because we didn't expect to see the game in the first place. And I mean, realistically, we have a better chance of seeing an EA Play Store arrive on Amazon Luna than any of these games popping up in the first place. In regards to Xbox Cloud Gaming, that is part of Game Pass, which includes EA Play and all of the games that are included there. And I will say that lately, the majority of the games that do come to Game Pass are cloud enabled. So if Madden and FIFA and Star Wars Survivor do come to Game Pass, there's a good chance that those games are going to be cloud enabled as well. And the final one is GeForce Now, which is really weird because I don't think GeForce Now and Stadia are the same thing. Stadia is a cloud gaming platform. It's the same as PlayStation and it's the same as Xbox. You use the platform to buy games that you want to play. GeForce Now, on the other hand, is a complimentary service. You buy games on Steam and you buy games on the Epic Games Store, you buy games on Origin, and you can play those games via the cloud thanks to GeForce Now. It's on top of all the other platforms. But even if you want to compare GeForce Now to Stadia, back in 2021, GeForce Now announced a partnership with EA, and since then, we have seen a ton of games become compatible with the cloud gaming service. So with Madden and Jedi Survivor coming to PC, there is a very good chance that those will also be compatible with GeForce Now. And the other thing that I keep coming back to this is Stadia's big conversation point right now is low change porting. Whether it's Google Stadia or whether it's members of the community, low change porting is constantly the thing that they go back to. They're like, well, Stadia has these new porting tools that are bringing games to the platform. And we've seen some developers embrace those. And we've even seen Dov Zimring say that load change porting tools can now reduce game development to the matter of weeks to bring the game to Stadia. And while yes, all of that is awesome, but I guess my question back to you is, if low change porting is that cool, why wasn't EA one of the original developers that you're testing this out with? There are so many other developers in the world that would be great to partner with, and you would ensure that games like Madden and FIFA and Jedi Survivor and Apex Legends and all these other games would be coming to the Stadia platform. Now, maybe that's happened, and maybe EA does have access to low change porting, but that announcement has not come from EA and it has not come from Google Stadia. I mean, I've reached out to Stadia 3 times now, asking them, hey, have you expanded low change porting to new developers? Where are we going with this? And for the most part, my questions are being ignored, making me extremely concerned. Because if low change porting is bringing games to the platform in the matter of weeks, don't you think that that would be something that you would be screaming from the rooftops and proving that, hey, developer A brought their game to the platform in the matter of weeks? You should too. It's just such a fascinating time. But to answer the question, has EA given up on Google Stadia? You know, with Madden not coming, Star Wars Jedi Survivor not coming, Grid Legends, F1 22, Battlefield 2042, NHL 22, Lost in Random, Knockout City, the Mass Effect Legendary Edition, Apex Legends, and It Takes Two not being available on Stadia. I've got a question. Did EA ever care about Stadia? Hey, thanks again for checking out our channel. If you like what you saw and you want to see more content just like it, which who wouldn't, hit the subscribe button right there. And while you're down there, hit the like button. Maybe even consider becoming a Nerf Report best friend, just like the people listed down below did. In fact, don't you want to see your name there? I know I do.